Howdy. Welcome to the veritable edge of Western civilization, Venice Beach, California. Today is October 3rd. It's, I think it's 3rd. Yeah, well, I don't know. And this is show number 83. Yay! 83! 83. 83, I said. So, it is a stunningly beautiful day here. We're just at the beginning of our heat wave, thankfully. And went in the water today, again. And caught some nice waves, body surfing, which is always a plus. Just came from standing on my head, so, you know, life is always better after standing on your head. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Oh, yes. So I had a vivid, what do you call it? Lucid dream this morning. I woke up around 9:10 and then started practicing my astral projection meditation, and I fell into this lucid dream. And then I woke up at 10:21, and in this dream, I was traveling between several very similar astral planes. You know, they look like Earth and everything, and a lot of people around and whatnot. And I didn't realize that I was on these different planes. I just knew that they were different levels, right? I didn't know that they were quote unquote astral planes in the dream. I just know that I knew that they were until the end when I realized what was happening. So I'm traveling between these different planes, and there was a group of us. They got in an airplane to travel to this other place, right? And we got there, and something happened where one of the people was injured. And so I was just, you know, quote unquote, just a passenger along for the ride. And somehow the pilot was nowhere to be found. And so there was this little process where I realized that, you know, that I could fly the plane. You know, I just knew in my heart I could fly the plane. And so that I could, instead of being a person who's just a passenger, I could like actually help out, you know, instead of waiting around for somebody to fix the situation, I could take a proactive role in what was to unfold, you know. So feeling a little nose itch. I'm gonna put my little essential oil mixture on there. Oh yeah, that's good. Oh, that's so wonderful. Oh man, it's wonderful. Right. So I have a shiny nose now. And so, you know, I take off with the plane, and I get back to the place that we left, the first, you know, astral plane that we left. And then, you know, the mission was to try to get back to those folks, right? And in the process, I got caught in these other two places that looked very similar to the original place and the final place that that we were stuck. And so I'm trying to get back there, and then I realized that I was sleeping and dreaming. You know, I became conscious of myself in my physical body on the physical earth plane, and I was aware that I was dreaming, and that I had been dreaming, and that I was aware that these different places were actually astral planes, and that I didn't need the actual airplane to fly back to get back to those folks. I didn't need to go through all the struggle to get back to those folks to help them out. All I needed to do was to create a portal to just go there, right? And so I did that. And but I did it as I was aware of, you know, being in my physical body in my bed. At the same time, I'm, you know, aware that I'm dreaming this whole thing. And so I could have just woken up. I knew that that was an option, but I didn't want. I actually started to wake up, and I was like, no, I don't want to just abandon those folks. So I went back in and created the portal. And as soon as I created the portal, the whole thing just disappeared. It was all over, you know. And I realized, you know, I wrote it all down and I posted it on Facebook and whatnot. And I realized as I was writing it down that that was the point of the exercise, you know. That's why it all ended, because the point of the exercise was, one, to come awake in my sleep, two, to realize that I could just cut to the chase, that I didn't need, you know, airplanes and all that kind of stuff, to be aware that I was in my physical body and in the astral planes at the same time. And as soon as I realized all that stuff, I woke up and I looked at the clock and it was 10:21. So the whole thing was like an hour and 20 minutes. Or an hour and... Do you have a question?
Oh, no, I was waiting for the police.
Okay.
All
right.
I thought he was leaving. Thank you, though, brother.
That's what. So, yeah, business has been a little slow the past couple of days. Not even a lot of looky-loos. So, oh yeah, what else is going on? Wasn't that cool? That was so cool. So, I'm getting there. You know, it's taken a while. You know, my goal is, once again, to astral project, you know, with 100% lucidity. Not there yet, you know, being able to astral project at will, you know. I'm way not there yet, but today's was an encouraging. It feels wonderful to be doing this work. I have to say, it's like a postgraduate school and being a human being, you know. But honestly, it feels like trying to remember something important in your sleep, you know. Trying to wake up from this, so yeah. Anyway, let's start. This is the piece I've been working on this week. And, the inspiration for this piece, once again, was this the dome, the geodesic dome, wooden dome that's over the pool, the main pool at Saraville Hot Spring in Saraville, California. Alrighty then. Yeah, I'm doing this. Let me see that. Every cake. So exciting that that happened. Makes you want to just do more, you know? We have, what? 66%? What's that all about? Well, it's going to be a short show today. Shorter, I should say. What time is it? It's 5:22. 5:22? I think I was born at 5:22. Thereabouts. Between 5:22 and 5:26 p.m. August 26, 1957. Naval Hospital, Chelsea, Massachusetts, inside Boston. So last night I watched this this movie, Kon-Tiki. It's a dramatization of Thord Heyerdahl's, I think, 1951 expedition to ride in a balsa wood raft from Peru to Polynesia, 5,000 miles, to prove that the Polynesian islands were populated from South America. And I have to say, it was pretty gripping. And his premise was pretty amazing too. He lived in Polynesia for 10 years. And up until that point, it was assumed that Polynesian islands were populated from the west. And but the currents and the local people say they came from the east. So the Kon-Tiki expedition was an attempt to prove that the local lore was right. That people built balsa wood rafts and they just floated with the current to Polynesia.
Got it. Hurry up. Times 3. Back.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. So, a conflict here, or a complement. Conflict that leads to complement. Hello. Yeah, that's what we have to do. Interesting. In conflict. Complement.
Oh, I know I can watch out. I look up, I don't see anything. And then it's like, oh, stop it.
Oh, wow. So if you guys can see that. See all the seagulls? You see all the seagulls? Something we haven't seen in a while. It happens in the wintertime. They pretty much, the flock just lives there. And every once in a while, somebody will run through it or their dog will chase through it and whatever, and they all fly up, and it's pretty cool. Oh, here they go. Can you see that? So reminds me of I spent a weekend camped on the shore of the Sea of Galilee back in 1999. I mean, literally, if I'm this is me sitting. The water was right there. I sat right on that because it's a lake. It's called Lake Kenneret, and you know there wasn't much chance of getting very wet. And I have to say that lake was one of the most fertile lakes I've ever seen. There were so many fish in that lake because it was really green. And the reason was because the lake was fed by water that was coming from harvesting, and so the water was it was high in minerals, and also one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had. There were these cormorants, you know, the birds that dive underwater. You know, they can fly, they can walk on land, and you usually see them sitting on rocks where they're drying out their wings. Big black birds. They look kind of like ducks, and but often you'll see them flocking in the water. And the largest flock of cormorants I've ever seen in my life was on that lake. And it was like this, you know, that what would happen is the whole flock would land over here, except maybe one or two of them would fly off over this way, right? And then, you know, a couple more would fly over where those guys did. And then you know, a couple, like 50 of them would fly over. And then, you know, 300 of them would fly over. And then, of course, 300 of them fly. Then the other 1,000 have to go. And so the other 1,000 start going. But, you know, a couple of them fly over here instead, you know. And so it gets split up. And then they want to get back together. And, you know, it's just this constant, you know, flying over to get everybody together kind of thing. It's amazing. So you can imagine a flock of 1,000 birds in a lake like that. They had to eat a lot of fish, and there were a lot of fish for them to eat. And when they ate that fish, they pooped, and that poop, you know, created more nutrients in the water for the stuff, the single-celled animals, and the food chain basically to happen, so that there were more fish. It was a pretty interesting. And of course, the reason I was camped there was like, so this is where somebody is supposed, the only human being that we know of that has ever walked on water or walked on this specific piece of water. That was my meditation weekend. Walking on water. Okay. This is the place, the real place. And there's still fishermen out there fishing all night long for a living. That's what they do. Is they sit there in their little boats. Not much has changed for them, I would say, in a couple of thousand years, other than the fact that their boats have engines now, like gas engines. Instead of sails. But the sound of that flock landing and taking off was amazing. I'll never forget it. I'm guessing that's where they wintered, because it was December when I was there. Next, if I go another time, I want to go to the hot springs across the lake. There's some hot springs on the Golden Heights side.
What do you think? I'm second worst. Like, obviously, you guys find out this little never gonna go be. I do a problem.
And you know what? Okay, so on the southeast corner of the lake, excuse me, southwest. Hey, brother, on the south. And on the far shore, on the eastern shore, it's the bottom of the Golden Heights. You know, the Golden Heights is a lot like it's like actually the whole area looks a lot like northern New Mexico. It's volcanic and very dry, and I mean, the Golden Heights is a butte or a plateau, you know, just like you'd see in the American Southwest. And but on the southern side of it, I'm told there's a road that will take you up to a hot spring. I want to check that out. And then, but I went around the lake clockwise, right? And so I hitchhiked to Tiberias, and then I walked out of Tiberias until I found this spot on the lake to sit, and I sat there for 3 days writing, painting. Actually, I actually painted a couple of paintings that were of Jesus walking on the water, you know, with using the water from the lake. And then I hitchhiked around the lake, and about the next little village up from Tiberias is a little village, a little hamlet called Hawaii. Literally, it's called Hawaii. And you know what? It actually looks like Hawaii because the southwestern side of all the Hawaiian Islands all look the same. They all look like the American Southwest. They look volcanic and dry, you know, with this dry grass. And then, but there were, you know, they planted palm trees and mango trees and banana trees and all that kind of stuff. So it literally looked like Hawaii. And I was like, what? You know, this was before cell phones. It was before I had a cell phone, because and that was the year. Phones. I was like, when I saw the camel jockeys with cell phones, I was like, the technology is here to stay. Wow. We're still here, still breathing. I don't know what you caught of what I just said or anything, but I just saw the notice. It said, your connectivity leaves a lot to be desired, buddy. So we can draw parallels, right? And metaphors, make a metaphor of that. And so let's do this. So today's Thursday. And my cousin Corey's supposed to be coming around shortly. There's the water. Alrighty then. Oh yeah. Okay. Stand up for a minute. So it's supposed to be warm like this through next week. Yippee! Which is really funny because I thought, you know, the last heat wave was the last couple weeks ago. It wasn't going to be any warmer until next spring, but I'll take it.
Oh, I thought, oh my God.
Ok, órale pues ya. Amiga, a la chingada, cabrón. A mí no me gusta que te quiten. Órale.
Alrighty then. We got 27. I think we're gonna milk this baby. So the next move is to figure out this next iteration of the news quadrants, and that's gonna take some calculations. So I'll probably do that tomorrow before we go on air and paint it tomorrow evening, and we'll be done for the week. Yes. Whoops. Unsteady universe. It's an unsteady universe. Crazy, 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 crazy. How you doing? Let's see. Let's see how beautiful it is today. You might actually see some waves pop out there, because right about there is the breakwater, the old Venice breakwater. And what's interesting is that breakwater is 100 years old. It was built for the original Venice amusement pier, the first pier, the amusement pier on Venice Beach. And there was another one that was built later, halfway between here and Santa Monica, the Santa Monica amusement pier. And it's the one that was built halfway between. I think it was about like near Rose or Ocean Park, is the one that's featured in the Lords of Dogtown movie that they took down in the late 60s. And yeah, you would never even know there was one in either place, other than the fact that there's a breakwater over there. Yeah, Abbott Kinney built the amusement pier about 1906, and then within 10 years, in less than 10 years, I think the amusement pier burned down, and they rebuilt it again. That was back in the day when Venice was known, before it was called Venice Beach, and when it was known for oil derricks. There was an oil boom here. So anyway, have some of that there.
So it's no surprise that
Alrighty then, we're gonna call that it and pack it up for the day. So I hope you have a most magnificent evening. Have lucid dreams, right? And hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay? Remember, we love you.